Hey,
Hello.
what's up, Facebook world? Let's see if anyone jumps on.
Do you think this will go viral?
Probably not.
Maybe. Quick, share it. Everyone that's watching, all you 0 people.
It's all right. We just wanted to come on here to give you guys some updates and some encouragement. We know how important it is to need to be encouraged, and if your life right now is requiring a lot of faith, and there's a lot of questions you have. There's a lot of concerns you have. We've probably been going through the same exact thing. So we would love to just chat with you in a chill way at 8:50 p.m. and just encourage you.
Yeah, before people start walking into our house, which is probably gonna happen.
Well,
people, they live here. Don't worry.
Yeah.
It's normal. But it's been a year since we said yes to going full time with Wildflower Ceramics. It's been a year of doing the best that we can with trusting that this was the direction God told us to go. With the business, to stop doing construction for the Kaya homes that I was running before, and to just solely focus on Wildflower Ceramics and what God was going to do with that. And it's been a ride. It's definitely not been easy. We're just gonna answer some questions that we get a lot from people, and by no means have we have this figured out, and by no means is every day where we're like full of faith and ready to go. Honestly, there are plenty of days where we're like, what are we doing? But we wanted to just come on and share and encourage people. Maybe there's some things that you wanted to take, like Anna said, some steps that you wanted to take in your life, and you just need that extra boost of confidence. Maybe watching us will help you, because now you've seen that we have survived a year, and you can do it too. So one of the questions that I get a lot, or I think I get a lot in a lot of situations, is how do you know you were supposed to take that step of faith? How did you know you were supposed to stop construction and do Wildflower? So it wasn't just this quick decision that we made overnight and said, oh, we're doing this, and we didn't talk to anybody. Like, we didn't just jump and do it, but we talked to people we trust, other people older than us, people that have lived lives longer than us, or even our same age, just people that have taken steps of faith. There's some people in our lives that have taken bigger steps than we have, and we talked with them. We talked with our pastors, we talked with just other people doing life. So we shared some of the things and where we thought we were supposed to go, and we're just doing our best to trust God with that. And I don't think you ever 100% know, and I'll let Anna talk to this too, but you don't know I don't think there was ever a moment where like, this is 100% God, we are going to do this. We don't always want to throw around the God told us to do this. So what we do is we feel like this is the direction God is leading us, so we start to push on doors and try different things. So the first step was not taking on any new jobs for Kaya Homes, which was a big step, because I kept getting jobs coming in, people asking me to bid things, and pretty good jobs, like they were jobs that
pay
would
the bills.
pay, you know, it, like jobs that I was looking for, remodels and things like that, building homes, and I'm shaking it.
Yeah.
So we just pushed on doors, and doors would close when we would ask God to close them. So there would be a job that I tried to get, and then just ask God, be like, if this is not the direction, then close the door. And it would be jobs that I should have got, and like I was definitely the lowest bidder because I have no overhead, and I was competing against much bigger companies, and they decided to go with other people. Could have been a whole bunch of different reasons, but God, we looked at that as a closed door, and then we looked for open doors. So some of the things as we stepped out in faith is we found a very nice kiln. This was last year, and a very nice kiln that was sold with a couple other kilns, and I was able to buy all of them and then sell the other two, which pretty much paid for the nice kiln. That's a $3,000 kiln that we essentially got for a few $100s, so these are just little things. I won't lie, we question it all the time, like, did we make the right step? And we'll talk more about those things, but what are some ways that God was speaking to you?
Yeah, I think for me it was every time I would have like a breakdown, there would be days where I'm like, what am I doing? Like, pottery can't pay the bills. Like, why are we both doing this thing? Like, it was much easier when I was just like a stay-at-home mom doing pottery, as a side hustle, and Chris was doing his job and everything was fine, and he would come home later. I would go through these mental breaks of like, I can't do this anymore. This is too stressful. And every single time I got to that point, obviously is when you kind of have to just give it to God and say, you asked us to do this. This isn't like 100% he told us this, but he asked us to do this. And because we did it, he showed up every single time. So he showed up in way of somebody delivering groceries to the door. He showed up in way of somebody just like mailing us a check and being like, you know what, I see what you're doing. I see that your business isn't just a business. I see that it's a ministry, and we want to invest in that. So those were little tiny increments of things that, God was able to show up in those moments, in those tiny little ways. So I think for me, it's been, he shows up at the 11th hour in moments of, oh my word, are we gonna, like, real life, are we gonna pay our mortgage this month? Are we gonna, wow, gas is really pricey. We probably shouldn't take as many runs out of town, things like that. But he just shows up in way of that. And can I get into the...
Oh, sorry, I got out of it.
Well, I was gonna say, we wrote down bullet points so we could stay focused. But, are we gonna go into the next? But yeah, anyways, he just showed up in way of, oh shoot, when we do the earthly math here, what I make isn't really gonna pay for oil in the house, and isn't really gonna pay for all this food that I like to buy, because I really enjoy cooking, and I like to buy really good ingredients, and some of the ingredients are not cheap. And I'm like, all right, I'm gonna give that to you, God. And he was able to provide like half off farm produce for us during the summertime and the growing seasons. And we were able to grow a little bit of our own food here. So it was just really cool to see God move in those ways that were specific. It wasn't like, here's a $10,000 check. It was, here's your fuel paid for. Here's your oil paid for the house. Here is fresh fruit and vegetables that you love, half price. Here's all of this. And he knows our heart, and he likes to provide for you. And sometimes not in the ways that we think he's going to provide, in the in and out ways, the very intricate detail ways. So for me, it's been really cool to see him work in that way. And like a friend, I could keep going, but a friend providing ski passes for our kids for this year. Like, we love skiing as a family, but obviously it's pricey, and this isn't the season to buy season passes. So that was their Christmas present. Their ski passes were paid for this year. So yeah, and that's just a cool way we can hang out as a family.
Yeah, and we have friends that have passes that we are able to use for free.
So we can go with our kids,
which is unbelievable.
It's unbelievable.
So that's cool. And then before we keep going into all that, or I guess on the same lines, just talking about just confirmations that we knew at the beginning that we were going the right way. I thought of another one, which is pretty big, but it was a year ago, so you starting to forget, is Anna was asked to be in videos for a women's conference through the AG, the Assemblies of God, and they recorded her making pottery, which was cool. We were like, oh, that's a great idea. They had us make, I think we made, here, let's pull the tape. They had us make 600 magnets with their logo on it, which was also amazing because it was good practice for us making big orders. And that turned into a lot more than we anticipated, which was really cool. Abby Sear is the one that leads that, and she, honestly, I don't know if she knows the blessing that it was to us, but it was pretty amazing.
I showered her with all of that.
She does. We were at 4 different women's conferences. Yes, I was at a women's conference with all our kids, and we were selling pottery because she was on the video, and they let us sell pottery there because they used the videos in correlation with the message that Pastor Abby was teaching, preaching. So that was amazing. That was in March, April-ish.
Yes.
And that was just a boost of confidence for us to be like, okay, we can make it. God's starting to provide and all that. And then another question we get, or Anna might get a lot more than I do, is how are you not afraid? Do you want to talk to that one?
Yeah, so I don't think there's like this, when we first made the big step for Chris to move out of his job and into Wildflower Ceramics, because we knew there was a bigger purpose and a bigger calling for our business, not just to be a business, but to be a help for others, a help for the community, a help locally and globally, to help support, to help empower the oppressed, to spread the gospel, all of that. It was really fearful because you're thinking in an earthly mindset. And for those of us like who are Christians, you know that we're not really of this world. So when we start to think about things in an earthly mindset, fear sinks in. So it was fearful 100% to step down. And we have 4 kids. So the first thought is, oh my word, like, I need to make sure that our kids have proper mittens for winter, proper snow pants for winter. And we have all these like human anxieties and human thoughts. Like we think our kids need all these things, and there are some needs, but there are also wants. And then for ourselves, like there are certain things I can't buy myself because it's just too much. And really I don't need it, but I want it. And so I think the fear goes away when you start seeing God provide. And sometimes you have to get to the point of squeezing that is like so uncomfortable. Like a lot of it is like stripping of the flesh and stripping of comfort. That's one thing that we had to really work through is like, when you are saying yes to God, it's not going to be comfortable. Like he provides and it's amazing. And there's miracles that he does in your life. There's a miracle actually I'm going to share eventually. I'm just not ready quite yet to share it. But the whole family together, we shared it, but I'm excited to share that with you guys. But anyways, God does these really cool things. So you're able to see him working. So it helps to strip the fear, but you still have to every single day wake up and say, all right, God, take this day. Like, I don't know what we're doing. It's scary. And give it to him. I don't really know. Like, I'm still like today, I was like, what are we doing? What the heck are we doing? Like, why are we, doing what we're doing? Why can't we just go back to you working? Like you have those thoughts, but there's a bigger purpose. So that's what takes the fear away from it.
Yeah.
So I guess to answer the question, what was the question? Did I even answer that?
It. Yeah.
Okay. How are you not afraid?
So the answer I think is we are. We have fear that creeps in every day, but fear is not faith in God. It's just fear. That doesn't it's not wrong to have fear. Like, you kind of have to be courageous in spite of fear. So courageous means facing the fear. So you don't act like you're not afraid. You just don't let the fear control you and make your decisions.
Right.
So we're trying so hard to do that, and I'm not saying that we get it right every day. Absolutely not. But that doesn't mean you just stop. It doesn't mean you just give up. It doesn't mean you just go back to what you were doing. You know, a lot of times we'll as people take steps of faith and things don't happen immediately, so we're like, that wasn't God. But God doesn't work in our timelines. He does not work how we think he's going to work. And every time Anna and I have stepped out in faith into something bigger than we thought, it's honestly been harder than we thought and took longer than we thought to quote unquote reach what we were trying to do. So fear is not a reason to not step out in faith and do the things that God's asking you to do, even if you don't know for sure that it's him. You know, the worst that's going to happen is you were wrong. And to be honest, we live in America. You're going to be okay. You're going to be okay. Just, I don't know what your steps of faith are. I don't know what God's asking you to do. It's not likely that he's asking you to start a pottery business, but he is asking you to do something, and maybe you're not doing it because of fear. So just take that step. Maybe you're not doing it because you're not sure. Just push on doors, see what happens, change some things in your life. Just take little steps. You don't have to make huge steps all at once. Another question we get, I think I got this other day, is like, so are you making any money? Like, is it going well? Are you paying your bills? And like, so the answer to that is like a yes and a no. There are seasons with our type of business where you make a lot more money, where you sell a lot more things. So we just went through the Christmas season, and to be honest, we sold double the amount of things we sold last year, but we made more than double in revenue, if that makes sense, because we've obviously gotten better at pricing things. We've gotten better at getting things out and saving money in different ways and just figuring out what works and what doesn't work. But God's been providing in other creative ways, like Anna said, through other people. God's been providing, we've been provided for the Grove, which is a coaching group that we're in. The Grove is the company, and Mike and Kelsey run that, and they're good friends of ours now, and they've been awesome through this season. God knew we needed them, and they've been just a huge encouragement and great people to have in our lives to help us to keep going. Honestly, you need those people to help you keep going. You're Joshua and Caleb's that have the faith that you don't when you need it. So that's been provided for. We haven't had to pay for that. And then our fuel for our house, like oil, has been paid for. Like Anna said, different things with food. The half off at the farm was actually cheaper than produce at Market Basket. And it was better.
And it was amazing.
Yeah, so
amazing
good.
Produce.
And our Christmas season was just so busy, to the point where we're like losing our minds because we're just trying to figure out how and what to make and all those things. So that was good, but we're in a season where it slowed down. So it's good because we're catching our breath, and we're taking this month and we're calling it our halftime, and just taking this month and reevaluating everything with the business. And we've also become new directors of the Center of Hope, which is an orphanage in Misungwi, Tanzania. That was another big step of faith for us. If you don't know the story, I'm not going to share it all, but we went to Africa, came back. We were going to help a couple women there start a business, a pottery business. Obviously, there's way more details, but we just felt like God was asking us to lead the Center of Hope, which was the organization we went with our church, Restoration Church. And that whole organization is now under the umbrella or under the oversight of Restoration, but we are directing that that organization, which is like, I honestly was not on our radar at all.
What
like,
are we doing?
Besides the fact that it fits
No idea.
perfectly into our life, it wasn't something we're like, we should go on missions to Africa. Like,
Right.
that wasn't the plan, but God spoke to us in big ways on that trip, and then we could not shake it the rest of the time. So after that, and so we said that yes to that, and I missed the question. How do you know you should keep going? How do you know that, like, even though it's hard, how do you know you keep going? When you take a step of faith.
So I think of it this way. Every time God does something, I have to write it down. Because if you know the story about the Israelites, how they were delivered and they were brought out of Egypt, which was their captivity. And they had to remember, so every time God did a miracle for them, every time manna fell from heaven, or every time they were fed and provided for and miracles happened, they would forget what he did. They would forget the way that he provided. And so what I try to do is every single time, even if it's so interesting, gratefulness squashes fear and lack of faith and frustration and anger and all of that. If you can just become grateful and remember, wait a minute, I'm so grateful for how God's provided. I may have had this last year and I don't have it this year, but it's okay because God's doing a new thing. So being able to change your attitude completely with gratefulness and remembrance of what he's done, that's what helps me move forward. And it helps me look. So there's this verse here, Philippians 4:19. And my God will supply every need of yours according to his riches and glory in Christ Jesus. So it's not our economy, it's God's economy. And I know you probably, if you're in the Christian world, you've heard that many times. But really, if you are walking in what God is asking you to do, and you're stepping out uncomfortably, he's going to supply every single need according to his riches. And if we can think about his riches, he's created the universe. He created you. He created me. He created everything. And his resources are endless. So knowing that has built my faith. Seeing that has built my faith. And that's what keeps me going. What about you?
Wow. Okay. How do we know I should keep going? Honestly, it's just, I'm not gonna, this is gonna sound like a Christian answer, but it's just prayer, because I can't see the next week and how it's gonna go. I don't know where the money's coming from for the next month. I don't know what sales will look like. I don't know if someone will give us money. I don't know if something will break. I don't know any of that. I will say in this season, and I don't ever want it to change or go back to how maybe it was before. I've definitely been trying as hard as possible to get and stay in God's word and like actually read it and hear from it. Most of the time God speaks to me through scripture, like whether it's something jumping off the page or if it's like something in my spirit. And not all the time is it where I read something and something jumps off the page, is it like God specifically saying something. Maybe it's just God trying to teach me something, God trying to change something in my heart or whatever. But I just keep asking God to show us that we're on the right track in different ways he provides. Is like confirmation for us, or someone he speaks through, or someone that calls us and encourages us, like Mike and Kelsey from the Grove. God has used them to help us to keep going, because we're doing things that honestly just don't make sense to us.
Or to anyone else.
Yeah.
That's why we get questions a lot.
Yeah. And you know, plenty of people
They
have
are.
started their own thing and their
Yeah.
own businesses and worked hard and made no money. We're not like the first ones
No.
to do this,
Absolutely not.
but we know there's a lot more people that need to take those steps, that
Yeah.
need to have the courage to step out. If that's you, you should join the Grove.
Yeah.
Little plug here.
We can even put a little.
Yeah, but
plug in the
if you want to know
comments.
more about that, so it's not anything that we're doing that's special. A lot of people have done things like this. We just happen to be doing it with pottery and trying our best to see how God wants to use that. And I would encourage you to just step out and just try the thing. Just try it.
Yeah.
Like I said, the worst that's gonna happen, you live in America, you'll be fine. Like there's so many things out there to help you.
Resources and
Plenty of jobs to get. If you're like, that was wrong, I'm just gonna go back over here. Like whatever. Resources. So the next big thing for us that we're going on is the Africa trip, and
we're going in April.
yeah, we're going in April, but we're bringing all 4 kids.
Yes, we are.
And I think Anna gets this way more than I do. I think mostly because she talks to a lot more people than I do. But people are just like, oh, you're bringing all your kids. Oh, okay. And they mean well. They're just like trying to figure out like, why would you do that? And I don't know why we would do that, except for that we just know we're supposed to go. We are supposed to go, and we're going for a month. We don't want to leave our kids home for a month. But again, we're not the first ones to do this.
Right.
There's missionaries all over the world bringing their kids everywhere, bringing their kids in situations that they don't want to bring their kids into, and God protects them.
Yeah.
God uses them. Do bad things happen sometimes to some of them? Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Bad things happen to everybody, no matter where you are, no matter what you're doing. So we just are trusting God. He's going to take care of us there. So we're going in April, bringing them to Tanzania. We're going to go have a 3-day outreach and be at the orphanage for 4 days doing projects and just getting to know that community.
Mm-hmm.
So there'll be a team of 16 people going with us.
Yeah.
And they will come for a week, and we're going to stay for an extra 3-ish.
Yeah.
And just
get to know the community, maybe meet an African potter, get to connect with the African potters, see how they do it, learn how their culture works, learn the language better, get our kids like submersed in it as well.
Yeah. So one of our big goals is to implement like an entrepreneurial business type program. I didn't think through this
within
part.
the Center of Hope.
So that it can start to be self-sustaining and they can provide for themselves, and you know, it's the dignity of it. They don't always want a handout. They talk to me all the time, the bishop over there, about how he wants to start businesses. He doesn't like to call all the time asking for money. So it's not something they don't want to do, and we're pretty excited about that. That's one of the things, along with foster care. We talked a little bit about, but we're going over there to start planning all this and thinking through it and see what God's going to do. So be praying for us in that. And the 16 people coming with us. And one of the people is her sister Olivia. She's coming with us for the whole month, which will be helpful with all the kids. So it's going to be exciting. Is there anything else you want to share? Charlie?
Are you
How's it
excited
going,
for
man?
Africa? Yeah. Yeah, he just got back from U-turn, and he got 2 teeth pulled today, so he's a little tired. All right. Yeah, is that everything we wanted to share? Or
Yeah, I think that's fine.
okay.
But yeah, if anyone needs encouragement, you can text us, call us. My Facebook was deleted because someone hacked it, so you can't get me there. But
Yeah, message through here if you have our phone numbers. We definitely just want to be an encouragement to you guys, and just be like a listening ear, be a prayer support for you. You know, if you're if you're just like, oh, I like really want it, God's been putting this one thing on my heart, or there's something I really want to do, whether it's impact related or just going to school even or whatever, but any of it, we want to be a support to you and
Yep.
and encouragement.
All right. Well, I don't know how long this has been. It's been long,
It's all right.
but hopefully we encourage somebody.
Yeah.
Have a great night.
Have a good night, guys.
I can't reach it.
Bye.